What's up, Tide fans? Stacey Blackwood here from Tide Talk Live. Big recruiting weekend in Tuscaloosa as Nick Saban and the Tide will be hosting 7 prospects on official visits. We're going to be taking a look at some of the most important ones or some of the guys that we think you should be watching over the next few weeks that will be there in Tuscaloosa this weekend on official visits. So make sure you like, share, and subscribe today, and we'll see you on the other side. So we're going to be looking at some of the top prospects that are going to be in Tuscaloosa this weekend on official visits. But as always, we want to hear from you guys in the comment section. So jump down in there and let us know which of these prospects that you're most interested in following over the next few weeks and who you think could be the next to commit to the Crimson Tide as a part of this class of 2024. But we're going to be talking about just a handful of these prospects that are going to be in Tuscaloosa this weekend. Like I mentioned, there's going to be 7 total prospects, but we're going to be looking at just 4 of these guys who I think are maybe the most critical ones or ones that are most notable to be watching this weekend in Tuscaloosa. We're going to start with Daniel Calhoun, the 4-star offensive lineman from Roswell, Georgia, a massive guy at 6'6.5", 350, 360 pounds. It looks like it's going to be down between his home state Bulldogs and the Crimson Tide. Alabama will probably feel better about their position with Calhoun following his official visit this weekend. So it's going to be really important for Alabama to roll out the red carpet for Calhoun and kind of give their best pitch to him. They're returning to a more physical brand of football in Tuscaloosa, and Calhoun is a guy who I think could be, an integral part of the offensive line in the future. Would be a massive get there on the, kind of projects as an interior offensive lineman, but he also has the length to play on the outside as well. So it's kind of be interesting to see how he kind of fills out and grows as a football player. But Calhoun is a guy who is going to be down between, in my opinion, between Georgia and Alabama. It will be tough for Nick Saban and the Tide to beat Kirby Smart and the Bulldogs out for his services, but you got to feel good about them getting him on campus for an official visit. Next, we're going to look at a couple of wide receivers, Arian Hampton and Amari Jefferson. Alabama likes where they're at right now in this particular moment with Arian Hampton, a guy from Texas, but you cannot count out Steve Sarkisian and the Longhorns. It's really a Texas and Alabama battle at this point. I think Alabama leads for Hampton right now, and the fact that he's going to be on campus this weekend for an official visit is going to help their cause. So it'll be interesting to see what Hampton does over the next few weeks, over the summer months, as he takes official visits. But Alabama's got to feel good about where they're at with Hampton at the moment. Amari Jefferson is another talented wide receiver, a 4-star prospect. Right now, it's between Alabama and guess who? Georgia. Another Georgia Alabama battle, another battle between Kirby Smart and Nick Saban. I feel like this is something that happens with almost all of the top prospects in every single class. But right now, it's, I think it could go either way between Georgia and Alabama for Amari Jefferson. I think Alabama has a little bit longer track record of developing top-notch receivers. So I think that kind of, will help them and be beneficial for them in their recruiting pitch to Jefferson. But again, like I mentioned, it's always nice to get these players on campus for official visits because you can, kind of roll out the red carpet. And, the way Nick Saban does things, he just pretty much tells these guys, look, this is where we see you fitting into our team. This is where we like you. And this is what we can help you do to become a better football player and make it to the next level, which is the goal and aspiration of all these young prospects coming out of high school. The last guy we're going to talk about is Isaiah Fega, a 3-star defensive lineman who really doesn't gain a lot of national attention. He is currently a commit to Utah. He's a guy who I think once he camps with Alabama, once he gets an official visit with the Crimson Tide, I think Alabama is ready to pull the trigger and take a commitment if Fega was, willing to give that commitment to the Crimson Tide. I think he's a guy you're gonna see rise in the recruiting rankings over the next few months before signing day in December. But like I mentioned, he's going to be camping with Alabama. But also, this official visit is big for Fega because I believe the coaching staff is looking for a couple things for him. They want to see, is he filling out, because he played around 250 last season in high school ball. If he can get up to around the 270 plus 275 range, Alabama would feel a lot better about giving him a committable offer to kind of pull that trigger because he is a guy who is talented enough, but he's just real slim in his size right now. But so Alabama and the coaching staff is looking for him to kind of continue to develop his body and become a more physical player because he's not going to be an edge player. He's going to be an interior defensive lineman. So he needs to get up to around that 270, 280 range. And there has been some rumors from certain folks that he is up to around 280 pounds. And once the coaching staff gets him on campus this weekend for an official visit, I'm sure they'll kind of get to check him out, maybe even weigh him and see where he's at, on the scales. And if he's, within their liking, he could have a committable offer. And I have a feeling, he's a Phoenix City native. I have a feeling that if he has a committable offer to the Crimson Tide, he will think long and hard about making that decision to flip from Utah to Alabama. But that's just a handful of the guys that are going to be on campus. Rico Scott, a guy who's already committed to Alabama, is going to be there as well. A couple more defensive backs will be there, one that's committed to Georgia. So there's some names to be watching, but I think these four guys are the four guys that Alabama really wants to make a good impression on this weekend because I think they feel like they have a really good shot at landing all of these players on down the road. But that's going to wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you'll subscribe to the channel. Our channel just continues to grow, and we thank you so much for that support. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Jump in the comment section and let us know your thoughts on today's episode and your thoughts on the official visitors that are going to be in Tuscaloosa this weekend. And then next weekend is even bigger. DeMarcus Riddick, a five-star linebacker who is currently committed to Georgia, will be on campus for his official visit. And I think there's a possible chance that Alabama can flip his commitment from Georgia to the Crimson Tide. So we look forward to kind of following that. We're going to be here for all those updates along the way. It's going to be a lot of fun to be these summer months as recruiting starts to heat up. All these official visits start taking place. You're going to start seeing guys pull the trigger. You're going to see guys taking all these official visits, and you'll really find out who Nick Saban and his coaching staff wants on their team and a part of this class of 2024. But once again, thank you so much for watching. Cannot wait to continue the conversation on recruiting throughout the summer months. And before we know it, the college football season will be here. But once again, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, roll tide.